Good morning and welcome back to Global Entertainment News TV. I am your host, Busola, and it is time to take a look at what is making headlines this morning in our newspaper review. Let's start with the Punch. Strike threats. ASU's VCs decries profs 525,000 naira monthly pay. ASU VCs decries profs 525,000 naira monthly pay. Moving on to the next. Dons insist on salary review as senior lecturers can earn 386,000 naira. Education Labour ministers meet today. Dons insist on salary reviews as senior lecturers earn 386,000 naira on education. Labour ministers meet today. To next headline. Jonathan demands credible INEC chair, decries defections. Jonathan demands credible INEC chair, decries defection. Up to next. Federal government nets 393 billion naira tax from Dangote, 9 others. Federal government nets 393 billion naira tax from Dangote, 9 others. Moving on to next. APC mocks ADC over chairmanship tussle. APC mocks ADC over chairmanship tussle. To next headline. 2027, party members can challenge Tinubu, says APC. 2027, party members can challenge Tinubu, says APC. To next one. Jailed monarch, Osun to obtain US court judgment. Jailed monarch, Osun to obtain US court judgment. Moving on to next. Lagos man killed in fight, suspect arrested. Lagos man killed in fight, suspect arrested. To next. Nigerians spent 1.3 trillion naira on petrol in June, says NMDPRA. Nigerians spent 1.3 trillion naira on petrol in June, says NMDPRA. That's it for the Punch. Move to the Vanguard. 2027 presidency. Zoning costs rumput. PDP intensifies move to woo Jonathan. 2027 presidency. Zoning costs rumput. PDP intensifies move to woo Jonathan. Moving on to text. Capital market surge proves investors' confidence in Nigeria's reform, says Tinubu. Capital market surge proves investors' confidence in Nigeria's reform, says Tinubu. To next one. Jonathan slams defections, seek electoral reforms. Jonathan slams defections, seek electoral reforms. Up to next. Federal government, ASU, meets today. Alausa leads push to resolve issues. Federal government, ASU, meets today. Alausa leads push to resolve issues. To next headline. Uzodinma raises minimum wages to 104,000 naira. Imo workers jubilate. Uzodinma raises minimum wages to 104,000 naira. Imo workers jubilate. To next headline. 762 Nigerians killed by kidnappers in 1 year. 762 Nigerians killed by kidnappers in 1 year. Up to next. Voters' apathy aids bad leaders. CAN warns Nigerians. Voters' apathy aids bad leaders. CAN warns Nigeria. Up to next. Await full briefing on Abuja-Kaduna train disaster, says Tinubu. Await full briefing on Abuja-Kaduna train disaster, says Tinubu. To the next one. 2027, our presidential ticket open despite endorsing Tinubu, says APC. 2027, our presidential ticket open despite endorsing Tinubu, says APC. That's it for the Vanguard. Move to the Nation. 2027, why Jonathan would run. 2027, why Jonathan would run. Moving on to next. Ex-President would allow disruption of South solidarity. Ex-President would allow disruption of South solidarity. Up to next. Federal government, ASU, talks raise choose hope. Federal government, ASU, talks raise choose hope. Up to next. I have opted out of 2027 race in party's interest, says Bala. I have opted out of 2027 race in party interest, says Bala. To the next headline. Ondo bans graduation of primary school JSS3 pupils. Ondo bans graduation of primary school JSS3 pupils. To the next one. 104,000 naira minimum wages excite Imo's workers. 104,000 naira minimum wages excite Imo workers. To the next headline. China's $1 million for food review. China's $1 million for food relief. To the next one. Kano government raises panel to probe Genewsng. Kano government raises panel to probe Genewsng. Up to next. Emerging economic models, our goal. Emerging economics models, our goal. Up to next. Judiciary is on trial, says FHC Chief Judge. Judiciary is on trial, says FHC Chief Judge. Up to next. Police to arraign Sowore for false publication forgery September 15. Police to arraign Sowore for false publication forgery September 15. That's it for the nation. We move to the Guardian. Correction and panel reforms. How warning funding legal aid keeps 53,460 pretrial inmates in jail. Corrections and panel reforms. How warning funding legal aid keep 53,460 pretrial inmates in jails. Moving on to the next. Alausa moves to resolve ASU crisis as federal government meets union today. Alausa moves to resolve ASU crisis as federal government meets union today. To the next headline. Tinubu justifies bitter pills of reform, loud citizens' patience. Tinubu justifies bitter pills of reform, loud citizen patience. Moving on to next. Ondo joins state banning graduation economics in nursery, junior secondary school. Ondo joins state banning graduation ceremonies in nursery, junior secondary school. To the next headline. Igbo leaders demand binding MOU for 2027 support as APGA backs Tinubu. Igbo leaders demand binding MOU for 2027 support as APGA backs Tinubu. Up to next. Tariff hike cut 2.4 million of internet amid soaring data consumption. Tariff hike cut 2.4 million of internet amid soaring data consumption. To the next headline. Falana, Ezekwesili, Sule tax lawyers on socio-economic rights, electoral act. Falana, Ezekwesili, Sule tax lawyers on socio-economic rights, electoral act. To the next headline. Genewsng faces fresh probes over alleged sales of public properties. Genewsng faces fresh probes over alleged sales of public properties. Moving on to next. Osun at 34. Adeleke scores administration high, says warns against dirty politics. Osun at 34. Adeleke scores administration high, warns against dirty politics. And we've come to the end of today's newspaper review segment. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to join us again tomorrow, same time, same station. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more news and updates on Global Entertainment News TV. Once again, I've been your host, Bisola, and have a wonderful day. Bye.